on to expose and publicize malfeasance and criminal behavior by powerful people in Nigeria. Most recently, the new Nigerian president, Bola Tinubu, an individual whose FBI file of over 2,500 pages is set to be released publicly for the first time next month, and who has, as a matter of public record, forfeited $460,000 to the United States government, being proceeds of heroin trafficking. Due to my journalistic work, his regime has taken extraordinary steps to silence me, including a recent attempted abduction from Ghana where I have political asylum. The Tinubu regime is currently trying to prevail on Ghana, which historically is a close ally of Nigeria, to violate the non-refoulement principle and have me return to Nigeria, where I would almost certainly face imprisonment, torture, and extrajudicial execution. To save my life and the important work that I do, I have been forced into a semi-nomadic lifestyle, rarely sleeping in one place for a prolonged period of time. In fact, it is from one of these temporary locations that I'm filming this message. Now, under Article 19 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights, freedom of expression is a fundamental human right. And as a journalist, I must be able to do my work without living in fear or living on the run, simply because I'm doing my job. Thank you. From the Northern District of Illinois Eastern Division. And it laid out the case very clearly that in 1992, he was the subject of a U.S. federal investigation as part of a heroin trafficking investigation. And he was found to be the money launderer working with a heroin trafficking ring, a Nigerian heroin trafficking ring in Chicago. And at the end of the investigation, he was forced to forfeit the sum of $460,000 to the United States government. Unfortunately, at the time, he wasn't actually in the US. He had returned to Nigeria to run for political office at the time, which would probably explain why there wasn't a criminal conviction. But, you know, be that as it may, the very fact of the assets forfeiture in itself, you know, I think tells you everything you need to know. It was stated very clearly in the court documents that the sum of $460,000 is being forfeited to the United States government, being proceeds of narcotics trafficking, right? Heroin trafficking. So that's the person who apparently is now Nigeria's president. Being that Nigeria already has, it's fair to say, a bit of an image problem, this certainly is not going to be very helpful. Being potentially perceived as a narco state or a state that is being led by someone with at least a significant history of drug trafficking, that's certainly going to be a problem. Then the secondary issue, which is tacked onto the back of that, is while I was digging into this story last year and obviously trying to verify the other bits of his personal background and story, which he declared on his presidential declaration, it also became clear that, for lack of a better term, the president is a ghost. We don't know who this guy is, right? Because so as part of the efforts to verify, obviously the tales he's told for years, subpoenas were sent out to the companies he claimed to have worked at, the institutions he claimed to have attended. So he once claimed to have attended the University of Chicago. This was very quickly put down by the University of Chicago, which disowned him and said they didn't know him. So then he quickly changed the story and said, no, actually it was Chicago State University. And, you know, for whatever reason, this was able to fly in 1999 when he first ran for governor. This time around, I decided to test that out. Like, did he actually go to this university? So in conjunction with a law firm in Chicago, Leahy, Eisenberg, and Frankel, and an independent lawyer in Nigeria, we actually were able to get a subpoena sent out to Chicago State University. And the results that came back made it very clear that the person that Chicago State University has on file as a Bola A. Tinubu and the person who is now Nigeria's president, who is called Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are not in fact the same person, because the person who is on file there was a woman. The date of birth was different, the nationality was different. So potentially we have a situation where the person who is Nigeria's president now isn't only a drug criminal, but potentially someone who potentially has committed identity theft. Right, this issue is in court now in Chicago and in Nigeria, and I just think it's amazing that for more than 30 years he's somehow been able to sort of get away with all of this without being asked these questions. I think this is the first time his feet are actually being put to the fire. It's a pity that under Nigerian law he was actually able to be sworn into office before these legal challenges could actually be completed. But I guess someone has to do the job, so here we are.
I was going to ask you, David, on that note where you ended, the fact that I think that it was just earlier this year a Nigerian court ruled, I think it was an appeals court, ruled that, or rejected basically, petitions filed by opposition challenging the legitimacy of his presidency or his victory, including questioning his qualifications. So why, if what you are saying is the case, if, you know, these from decades ago, these things in fact happened as you're describing them, and I know that you've looked up and have the documents for them, why then did a Nigerian appeals court move forward and reject the petitions opposing it and move forward with the election, as you said?
So an unfortunate thing about the justice system in Nigeria is, first of all, it's not independent. The judiciary is actually not independent of the executive. The executive controls the money of the judiciary. The second thing is there's a very bad habit of delivering this thing called justice by technicality. So in the case of his educational qualifications and his failure to declare an additional nationality, which was also another perjury on the electoral declaration, what the court basically said was, oh, well, the way this evidence was submitted didn't meet this process or that process, therefore we're not admitting it, we're striking it out. So basically, that decision wasn't made on the merits of the case, it was made off the back of a technicality. And even more farcically, in my opinion, the judgment that was made regarding the fact that he had, you know, forfeited money for heroin trafficking, he had involvement in heroin trafficking. What the court said basically was, it was his bank accounts that were sued by the U.S. government, I guess, which, I mean, using the framework of a U.S. civil asset forfeiture technically is true. But obviously, you and I know that's a legal technicality, because obviously a bank account is not a standalone entity. There's an individual behind it. So what the Nigerian Appeal Court said was the bank accounts in the name of Bola Ahmed Tinubu committed the crimes and not the man, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So basically, the president's bank accounts are guilty of drug trafficking, but not the man, not the president. The president. I personally think that's a ridiculous judgment, but, you know, here we are.
David, we have only a couple more minutes, but I wanted to ask you about the documents the FBI here in the States, of course, now says that they're going to release on President Tinubu and your role in helping that to happen.
Yes. So shortly before the election, I'd actually tried to get hold of the documents in Tinubu's FBI file, because I know for a fact anyone who has ever been the subject of a U.S. federal investigation does in fact have an FBI file. Yeah. And in response to the FOIA, the FBI said, because of privacy considerations, we're not going to give you this information. He's a private citizen. So after the election, which he purportedly won, he's no longer a private citizen. He's now a public official. So we sent, in conjunction with a gentleman called Aaron Greenspan, who runs a website called plainsight.org. You might be aware of it. He's based in San Francisco. We sent off another set of FOIAs, this time to the FBI, the CIA, the State Department, the DEA, the IRS, and the U.S. attorneys. And they initially stonewalled. So we went to court, right? So myself and Aaron, in conjunction with a lawyer whom we were able to get to work pro bono. So in the initial submission from the respondents was that potentially this was going to drag on to like 2026. And then a couple of weeks ago, pretty much out of nowhere, I didn't see it coming. It was, I think, Friday, September 8th, I think it was. Then I got a message from Aaron, you know, and there'd been a new filing in court. And basically all 6 U.S. government agencies, that's the FBI, the CIA, the DEA, the IRS, the State Department, and the U.S. attorneys basically said, we're going to give you everything you're asking for. And even went into further detail. The FBI said they've identified 2,500 pages of relevant information on Bola Tinubu, which they're going to release at the rate of 500 pages a month.
Tinubu don't go bribe everybody. Yes. Don't go to judge in the favor of Tinubu. Right. Man to man, like, you get to understand how the content look like.
Nah, man, no man.
That's
so no, this one no go get head now.
I mean the
Supreme Court matter to
for where?
You know, get
for where? At the end, they go see judge against a Labour Party.
What it be?
Don't leave that matter because you go use money, bribe everybody. Everybody go use money, do everything. Everything go end.
So you know get, May they die the matter.
May all die the matter. May everybody just go rest.
May they focus on.
May us focus on this first subsidy. We know what to just do about.
See, unless we dey play with ourselves. Atiku that court no go get. Make it no just wait. It be like say one waste some money with them. When get that time when be custom officer. Don't say that time make enough money. And now that money is now still Nigerian money. That case no will get anywhere. That man don't sit for that place. Say they go court, they go this,
so
they
go wait for another 4 years.
Man, go see. He making you go, man go kill. You need to go kill. You understand?
Yeah.
So that case needed.
Yes, now 15 will be the final judgment.
Yes.
And today, Tinubu must go back to where I'm from. Because him be thief. He go forge result. Carry on here. Him be thief. Confirmed thief.
So you believe say Supreme Court go do?
Yes, now no justice. Make the thief go.
Okay, make the thief
go. Him be thief.
Nobody trusts Nigerian judiciary now, and in actually sense, Nigerian the judiciary know where they will head. But in this issue now, I think that they will give the favor to the Tinubu.
That Tinubu will still win.
Tinubu will still win.
So you don't believe in the credibility of Nigerian justice system?
I'm not believe it, my brother. I not believe it because through Obi and the Tinubu, what they said there is bring confusion for the country.
The reaction?
See, to me, nothing will come out.
Nothing will come out.
What happened between Obi, Tribunal Appeal Court is what will happen today. But to me, I should have said, because it will bring a setback to Nigerian politics in the section of president. Because if you happen to say they notify, they command the president, they come to run election again, that means that there will be governor will be contesting, there will be governorship election first before the president, because if they come to be election, presidential election today, that will be a setback for the country. So to me, I should have said, let them
just wave it aside.
They just wave it aside so that let the man finish his first tenure.
Thank you. Jagaban a strong hand though. Jagaban is so. When I do bad thing, even the lawyers, even everybody they talk say in their rights. You understand? When I know their rights, everybody is in their rights. When I get me.
So nothing will come out.
Wow, my man. This country is safe. I don't know when I never reach me say. When they tell you something, you know, they use your tongue, say they can't your teeth, no say that one, na just bobo juice.
So law, my pros, you choke our courts for this Nigeria no the balance. Our court for Nigeria no balance, you choke because this matter get as it be.
So there's no expectation.
Expectation.
The president say the same forged certificate.
The same forged certificate, yes, we all know the truth. Even Obi said they swab the results. But this court now, for me, Nigeria court Nigeria court no get level. Nigeria not make Atiku and Obi just rest. Let them just rest. Let them just rest.
Wasting their time to come out.
Nothing is going to come out. It means that Atiku is now emphasizing on this certificate forgery instead of he won election. That means he has conceded that the other man won election.
He's trying to disqualify the president due to his fraudulent act.
Well, if things being equal, or if they do the right thing, if they find out that true he forged the result, he should be disqualified. But Nigeria, I'm afraid. My afraid is this. In Nigeria, anything can go. Anything can go. I said it before that if you want to get things right in this electoral matter, this matter, that the ruling is supposed to come before swearing in. For instance, it happened in Bayelsa State. Leon and Diri. It happens that the Leon deputy forged result according to the court. And they were removed, and he has not been sworn in. So immediately, the PDP who came second took over the power.
So you're saying now either pays the piper will determine the tone. Like Tinubu is the one that chose most of the judiciary member. They are going to rule in his favor.
Without being told, they are going to rule in his favor. And this is, people are alleging, we are not very sure. You understand? We are not very sure that he forged certificate. It is only when the law proved that he forged certificate. But Atiku might not get good results there because the man is in charge. Even if Atiku is in charge, we will do the same thing.
But it was confirmed that the certificate he presented to the INEC was different from the one the school gave to Tinubu.
Who confirmed it? Is it law? Is it court?
The school.
Who confirmed it?
The school. CSU.
The school confirmed.
Yes.
Has court confirmed?
No, not yet.
Court should confirm because people are flying rumor here and there. Sometimes they give us another news. Another thing is happening.
It's just a mere propaganda, mere news.
Another thing is happening, but it will be very difficult because the man in question is our president, Nigerian president, and he's the president of the Judiciary, president of common man, president of every other sector in Nigeria, so military and all the rest. So he's in charge. I don't know how possible it will be. He's completely in charge.
The problem is nothing will come out. You see the matter go.
Do more for that, I beg. Do more for that. Even with the guys say Buhari no good, but this one the worst pass Buhari. So do more for that.
So Tinubu was pass Buhari.
This one now, I mean, anyone yes, every shot, every I don't tumble. So if you can't do that more 4 years, let me say everybody. Some people will live for street, they're hungry, don't keep for street.
So you pray make to Supreme Court come out Jagaban?
If you come out today, I'll be the hardest man so far.
You believe say this administration no better pass Buhari?
I say Buhari own, we get hope for Buhari own, pass this one.
So no hope for this one now?
This one no hope, no joy for this one.
What's the outcome of?
Oh man, for our Nigeria constitutional law, my pros, our courts for this Nigeria no the balance. Our court for Nigeria no balance, because this matter get as it be.
So there's no expectation.
Expectation.
The president say the same forged certificate.
The same forged certificate, yes, we all know the truth. Even Obi said they swab the results. But this court now, for me, Nigeria court Nigeria court no get level. Nigeria nothing. Make Atiku and Obi just rest. Let them just rest. I'm telling you the facts.
Today now they sit for another court, Supreme Court. What do you think go come out? Now the same thing.
Brother, Jagaban a strong hand. Jagaban is so. When I do bad thing, even the lawyers, even everybody they talk say in their right. You understand? When I know their right, everybody they say in their right. When I get me.
So nothing will come out.
Wow, my man. This country itself, I don't know. When I never reach me say, when they tell you something, you know, they use your tongue, say they can't your teeth, no say that one, na just bobo juice.